Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, March 7th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will be moving. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, UNCY, huge move today, a lot of volume, a lot of people watching this one. So you got to think that there's going to be some potential for good solid movement here as we head into Tuesday. And there's a very well-defined level. So as I draw this level, let me be very clear that in no way, shape, or form am I saying that this line right here is some great discovery, some great ability on my part. The exact opposite. I assure you a lot of people have drawn that line. So why do I say all that? Well, when you have a when you have a level that a lot of people are watching and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there is no such thing as a guarantee, my point here is that, is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price comes up to that trend line and gets the break up through it, that break could create good, solid additional buying pressure? That's certainly a plausible and logical conclusion that you could reach. Again, doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but it's certainly plausible. So next level to watch, support-wise, is going to be down here where the bottom of this consolidation area essentially happened at $1.13. And then for you pattern players out there, we'll make it the same color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, you have the explosion right there. For you golfers, we'll make it more visual, put the golf ball down here, and this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennant patterns, if you like stocks down below $5, keep an eye on it. Next one, TRKA, and another big move on this one. Been tracking this one very routinely. Last time I did it, talked about this resistance and support. Basically had I was going to say very crudely, but I won't make that crude. Let me try to get a little bit. There we go. Had this bull flag pattern, and this morning got the gap up above the bull flag, and then just continue to break out. So moral of the story, higher highs and higher lows. That is the name of the game. I'm going to go ahead and delete this out as these levels have served their purpose for now. But in terms of newest levels to watch, first key level, and again, like the one we just talked about, UNCY, same general idea. I'm not trying to press you, not trying to anything like that. Not a special skill. You got to think a lot of people have drawn that trend line right there, and we'll be watching that. And then as far as supports are concerned, key level down there at the 67-cent mark, right around there. And then again, to keep it all the same color, resistance, support, big move up. Golf hole down here. So we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. Only difference here is this is on a penny stock. So maybe you only trade penny stocks and the other one was a little too expensive for you. But here, same general idea, overall uptrend, bull pennant pattern on a penny stock here. So if this is your price range and you like these patterns, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, SNAP, Snapchat, and same thing. So I'm going to go through this one a little quicker because you've already heard the spiel. You've already heard the pattern. So we have our resistance line right there. Let me squeeze this down a little bit more to offer it more context of where this green line is coming from. There we go. We have our former breakout point there, which is just now considered an area of resistance. Yeah, that's showing up on the video. And then again, real quick, resistance, support, explosive move right here, golf hole down here, another bull pennant pattern. And we've officially covered all the different price ranges. This one is up over $10. So we have a over $10 one, a below $5 one, and a penny stock one. So if you are somebody for bull pennants, we have quite the buffet of those choices headed into Tuesday. Next one, MULN, and really like this one because it's got very well-defined level right here at, let me bring this down, at the 24-cent mark right there, going through the history of things. Now, it's not exact, but generally speaking, you can see right there, really struggled around that area to build, maintaining the momentum right there once again. Did temporarily break above it, got that high, but failed, and back down it went right there, just flat out rejected. And then this morning got somewhat close to it, but couldn't quite build or maintain any more momentum, and back down it went. So point here being, everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching 24 cents moving into the next several days. So once again, brings into the talking point of self-fulfilling prophecies. So keep a very close eye on that in terms of resistance levels. In terms of support, nothing new here. As I talked about previously, you're going to want to watch 22 cents because as long as the price stays above 22 cents, then the price is showing signs of progress. Meaning if the price comes down here, bounces around and then curls back up, by staying above 22 cents, you now have the ability to draw a low there and draw a low right there. And if you envision those as stair steps, you still have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So 22 cents, key level of support, 24 cents, key level of resistance. Next one, AMC, same general idea as MULN. There's a pretty well-defined level when I just bring it across like that. You can see at 675, not exact, but generally speaking, price has struggled there, struggled. You get the idea. And right there actually smacked its head right on it earlier on the day before getting rejected back down. So you have the 675 as the main level of resistance, but at the same time, you also have that trend line right there. So let me change that to green. And in all actuality, from a charting standpoint, you have resistance, you have support. This would be an ascending triangle pattern. So ascending triangle headed into Tuesday. If this trend line fails, and at that point, the next key level to watch very closely would be that pink line, which on my chart denotes the 200 period moving average, currently valued at 593. But as things stand right now, ascending triangle is how I'd summarize this one. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering in a couple of weeks. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency, to manage risk, then certainly get signed up for the free live training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description box. If you're watching on my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live training. Next one, AMAM. What a monster move here. So a little bit of, I don't want to say disappointment because it's still exciting, but for anybody that likes to play breakouts, that has come in past. You had this pattern right here. You have that trend line, but the price last 30 minutes is now broken above it, and as I speak is pushing up towards those higher highs. You can see down here volume is just pouring in. So like I said at the beginning of the video, that's why I like to do these when the market is still open, because you can just see some of this good action right here. So from that angle, yeah, you already missed it from a breakout player standpoint, but you have to keep in mind what a watch list is. A watch list is finding interesting situations, and not randomly rushing out and buying anything, but watching it. And I would definitely, at least in my opinion, consider this movement that's essentially straight up, huge volume, with the biggest volume coming in the last 30 minutes right there, a unique and worthwhile situation to watch. Meaning, sure, if you're a pattern player, you've already missed that breakout, but maybe there's another pattern that comes about. So let's say the price pulls back here a little bit, and then at that point, you could be saying, okay, well, there's a pullback here, but what was going on before the pullback? You had this big move here. Oh, look, we're looking at a bull flag pattern. So yes, as of right now, there's not a bull flag, but my point is, could a bull flag establish itself in the coming days? Absolutely. But the key, ingredients are there. Big volume, big volatility, and that's what we want. Now, if you're somebody that's a pullback player, well, then that's a little bit more straightforward because we have enough data for that. So an interesting pullback area could be this former breakout area right there at 11.50, or if you want to be a little bit more conservative, the other level down there at about $10.50. But anyway, look at it. Big volume, big momentum, big volatility. Let's see what happens with it on Tuesday. Next one here, BLPH, which is not ruined, but starting to take a bit of a different type of, attitude, if you will, because check it out. Last 30 minutes here, big red candle, pretty big pullback. Again, did that destroy everything? It didn't, but it does kind of throw out the question of, okay, is this some sort of leading indicator of there's more bloodshed to come? So if you're somebody that likes more so play pullbacks, then you have a couple different interesting levels. First level down there at the bottom of that consolidation around $3.20. And then you can also keep an eye on that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. Keep in mind that's a moving average, keyword being moving, so that line will move itself higher and higher as time goes by. So, you can't, right now, yes, it's valued at 229, but that value is going to move and change as Tuesday plays out. If you're someone that's looking for more so a breakout or turnaround, well then, you have a trend line right there. Pretty steep trend line, but that's the level that, you could keep an eye on if you wanted to from a turnaround and potentially breakout standpoint. But yes, overall, still a very volatile, very, high volume stock. But this last 30 minutes certainly does kind of cast a little bit more uncertainty into the approach, but worth certainly at least keeping an eye on. Next, AZUL, and I like this because there's a couple of very well-defined levels, so we go back to that whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies. But what's interesting here is that price made a big move up and then came back down. So as prices come back down, it's always interesting because you throw out the question, uh-oh, is this the beginning of the end? Is this thing just going to keep on collapsing? And we got our answer. No, it at least started to go sideways. Now, let me be very clear. Just because it went sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed this pullback is over and for sure guaranteed the price is headed back up. My point is, does it at least become plausible at this point to suggest, oh, maybe this pullback is over? Yeah, that makes it plausible. Not guaranteed, but plausible. So that's why this area of support now is going to be important at 565. This is essentially the bottom part of this consolidation. So keep an eye on that. And then if you're looking to play more so some sort of turnaround, then you have a pretty well-defined level right up there around $6.20, where if the price gets up to $6.20 and breaks through it, then again, no guarantees, but seems reasonable to think that could create another round of buying and potentially push it up to these highs up around that $7 mark. But anyway, look at it, you can't deny the fact that there's a nice little small sideways channel right here after a big move up. So it just becomes a question of, is this consolidation the leading indicator of of the turnaround before it gets going again? Worth keeping an eye on. Next one, TSLA Tesla, one that I watch on a routine basis, traded it today and did nicely with it. Actually took me from I was red on another stock, and this one got me back to being green on the day. So thank you, Tesla. But definitely a couple of levels that I know I'll be watching tomorrow. First key level right there at 192.50. That's going to be an important level because you can see here, generally speaking, that was a resistance. And then basic rules, when levels of resistance are broken, you want to see them act as support. And acted as support there, directly bounced off it right there. So if the price comes down there, you got to think that there's going to be longs watching that level thinking, okay, I think the price is going to bounce. There's going to be shorts watching and thinking, well, I think if it fails, it's going to keep going down that more. So what actually happens, that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong, and you got to manage that risk. But that doesn't take away from the fact the common denominator there, that 192.50, is going to be a very watched level in terms of if the price does try to turn around. Key level resistance right now at that purple line, the 50 period moving average, which right now let's just call it at 196. But in my mind, I think the most interesting dynamic here is all about that 192.50 mark and what happens if the price hits that level. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that follows the NASDAQ. So if you think that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, then this one will also rise. The big difference, this just allows you access at a much lower price point. And right now, kind of tricky to talk about because it depends on your perspective. What do I mean? Well, if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, maybe you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 12 minutes, well then yes, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad because there's no doubt about it. Basically, late morning, a big downwards channel formed. Now, if you care about the big picture point of view, you have to ask yourself a question, because by default, if you care about the bigger picture, you have to say, okay, well, yeah, there was a downwards channel, but what was happening before the downwards channel? And what was happening was a big old move upwards like that, which is now actually drawn a bull flag pattern. So overall, the chart's fine. It's had a pullback. Nothing goes straight up. And as of now, you could chalk it up to just being a bull flag pattern. Now, that doesn't mean because it's a bullish pattern that this thing can't continue to drift down, but also it could very well turn around and get the bullish breakout back to the upside. So, like I said, is this a bad or good looking situation? That depends on your perspective, because if you're a day trader, depending on where you're bought, yeah, things could be looking really bad for you. But if you care about the bigger picture point of view, all the pullback today did was create a bull flag pattern. So it continues to create one of those situations where still plenty of opportunity to build a higher base, and that's what matters most from a trend building standpoint. So that wraps up the top 10. And again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free training. It'll be Thursday, March 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Leave me a comment and hit that like button. As far as your comment, say hi. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. Did I leave something out that should have been on the watch list? Again, let me know down in the comment section. But those two things help out the channel, and I really do appreciate it. So get signed up for that training. Hit the like button. Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.